GM is out with its earnings, and we'll see what's happening. Given all the backdrop, Phil LeBeau joins us now with the numbers. Hey, Phil.
Hey, Joe, this is a beat on the top and the bottom line for General Motors in the first quarter. The company earning $2.78 a share. The street was expecting $2.74. Revenue coming in slightly better than expected at $44.02 billion, about $1 billion more than was expected. All in, adjusted EBIT of $3.49 billion, better than the estimate of $3.42 billion. The adjusted margin is 7.9%. For North America, GM made $3.28 billion. That's less than the first quarter of last year when they made $3.84 billion, and they brought in about $45 million from China. That's an improvement compared to just an awful couple of years in China. Remember, they took that huge write-down and charge last year, I think, several billion dollars. So they made $45 million in the first quarter in China as they restructure that business. Average transaction price, $50,700. That's up about $1,000 per vehicle compared to the same quarter a year ago. And here's the news that people will be focused on. General Motors is reassessing its 2025 guidance due to the potential impact of tariffs. There will be an impact. They just don't know to what degree. And as a result, they are not sticking by the guidance that they gave in January for 2025. And they are now reassessing, that's the word they're using, their guidance on tariffs. We should get more details regarding how General Motors sees the landscape, especially in North America, with regard to tariffs when the company does its conference call, not today, but on Thursday. And we'll talk about why in just a little bit. We'll also have a first on CNBC interview with General Motors Chair and CEO Mary Barra. That will be on Squawk Box Thursday morning. And the reason that they are delaying the conference call and this interview with Mary is because the president will be in Detroit tonight, where he is expected to announce the modifications and the offsets for the tariffs that should provide a little bit of relief to the automakers. Exactly how much remains to be seen in terms of maybe not stacking the tariffs like steel and aluminum on top of the 25% imported auto tariff. Also giving some relief in terms of supplier tariffs, which are supposed to kick in starting on Saturday or Sunday. So the bottom line is this, guys. We'll find out on Thursday from General Motors how it is planning to offset these tariffs, because they're still going to face higher costs. The question is, do they have a better sense after the president's announcement?
Did they say anything? We used to wait for you to tell us what they said about EV production until the tariffs came out. Anything at all about that? They're just on track? Or where were they the last couple of times they reported? Phil, were they paring it back significantly, or?
No, they continue to ramp it up. They have stood by their projections in terms of EV production as well as EV sales. Now, the interesting thing, Joe, there's more than a few people who are out there saying, you've got capacity at Factory Zero, which is being tooled to make electric vehicles in the Detroit area. Do they change that? Do they say, look, we've got to move some production, and therefore one of the steps we're taking is to move some production into Factory Zero and scale back EV production there? But in terms of EV production in Spring Hill and cell production, we were there last year during the annual meeting for General Motors. No, they're sticking with that as of right now. Let's see on Thursday. You know, they could say something completely different come Thursday after they get a better sense from the Trump administration tonight about these offsets and modifications to the tariffs.
I was going to joke around and say, have they sold one yet? But which ones are it's the Equinox. Actually,
they're number two in the U.S., Joe.
Okay.
Joe, they're number two in the U.S.
From the Equinox?
Equinox is a big one, yeah.
What else?
It's not just the Equinox, but they've got some other vehicles as well. Okay. I mean, there's an electric Silverado now, Chevy Blazer. Really? I mean, they have more than just one electric vehicle. Now, they're a distant, number two in terms of market share, or number three. I think Hyundai's technically number two. But General Motors, as an automaker, has dramatically improved its EV sales relative to where they were, Joe. I know you're going to sit there and say, how much are they?
Exactly.
But relative to where they were, they've improved their EV sales.
And on Ford, the Mustang, is that an EV now? For that little crappy-looking thing that
well,
they're selling?
they make both the traditional internal combustion.
Because that used to be a muscle car, and then now it looks like almost looks like a...
and then they make the Mach-E. There is an electric version of the Mustang, which is built in Mexico.
It is, for now. Okay.
Hey, Phil, how much of GM's, the production comes from either Canada or Mexico? And how do you figure that out with the parts that are coming across, too?
Well, with the parts, that makes it a little bit trickier. They do not have as much U.S.-based production as Ford. Ford has the most in this country. But what they're doing is where possible, Becky, they are shifting some production. Good example is they make the full-size pickup trucks, some of them, down in Mexico. What are they doing? They're shifting some of that production up to the plant in Fort Wayne, Indiana, where they also make full-size pickup trucks. And they're going to increase their production, I think, annually by something like 50,000 vehicles, trying to take up some of the excess capacity there. Those are some of the steps that they're taking.